Before Child's Play 2 hit theaters worldwide, there was a private screening for the bigwigs at Universal. According to Reign of Chucky, the fantastic book by Dustin McNeill and Travis Mullins, this screening concluded with Universal's chairman, Tom Pollock, approaching series producer David Kirshner, saying, "I've got 3 words for you. Child's Play 3. Yes, a third Chucky movie was greenlit before the second had even released. That sounds great, but writer Don Mancini began feeling the pressure immediately, as Universal wanted the third film in theaters in just 9 months. Goodness gracious. Chucky had been burnt, decapitated, melted, and double exploded, so how could he possibly come back again? Today, we're covering Child's Play 3, so I'll tell you all about it. I love the first 2 films in the Child's Play franchise. I always have. As a matter of fact, I still tend to go back and forth on which one I like better. But this third one, not so much. Now, is it bad? Is it just okay? We'll get to the bottom of all of that here today. Welcome to Scream Sequence, razor-sharp reviews of your favorite creepy classics. Every video here on 616 Entertainment is made possible by my supporters over on Patreon. If you enjoyed the show here today, consider signing up. You'll get early access, exclusive videos and podcasts, and more. Pro Wrestling Tees has the merch. As always, thank you for watching. Andy Barclay had survived Chucky twice. Kid's barely out of kindergarten, he'd gone to war with a murderous doll and won on 2 separate occasions. Talk about a trooper. When you think about Child's Play 3, you've got to wonder what the hell else this little kid could possibly go through, right? Well, you don't have to wonder for very long, because this time, he's not a little kid. The role of Andy Barclay had always been played by Alex Vincent, but in this third installment, the character was recast, slotting in Justin Whalen. Does Justin look a little older than Alex? Yes, he does, and that's because the story of Child's Play 3 actually features a time jump. Right off the bat, we were alerted that 8 years have gone by. This movie dropped just 9 months after the last one, but we're supposed to go with the fact that nearly a decade has elapsed. Alright. Not to make this video a mess from the get-go, but I have to mention here that Tyler has an Atari Lynx in this movie. He's playing it in several scenes. In 1991, which is when this film released into theaters, the Lynx was still fairly new and cool. But if this movie is supposed to be taking place in 1998, the Lynx is old news, man. Old news. That's just a funny little thought I had watching this movie. Not to mention, I have laid eyes on behind-the-scenes photographs where the actor is playing a Game Boy. Now that's more like it. I have no idea how I got so sidetracked so early, but let's focus, let's shake it off, let's get into the story of this movie. After the second set of Good Guy murders took place, PlayPals, the umbrella company who owned the Good Guy IP, ceased production entirely. Everything, from the character to the toy to the factory itself, have been dormant ever since. But after 8 years, the suits feel they've waited long enough.
Andy Barclay is ancient history. No one remembers him. Nobody cares.
The Good Guy doll was too hot of a seller to collect dust, so fuck it. He's back in production. In the dingy, dirty, worn-out old factory, the remnants of Chucky are mixed in with the new batch. And that is all it takes. Chucky's back. I swear, he's just like Dracula. Take the stake out of his heart, he's back. Drip blood on his ashes, he's back. It's that easy, I guess. The first victim this time out is the Jagoff PlayPals CEO from Child's Play 2. He's back here in the third movie, but only for a minute. Chucky tracks down Andy, who is now a cadet at Kent Military School, and he mails himself right to Andy's door. That's hilarious. The package is intercepted by this little guy, Tyler, who wants to keep the good guy for himself. Chucky realizes that he's in a new body. Andy isn't the first person to know his secret anymore. He can technically inhabit the body of Tyler.
My real name is Charles Lee Ray.
No, you're dead! We killed you!
You just can't keep a good guy down.
I got some fresh meat lined up and I'm not gonna let you spoil it, not this time.
Just think, Chucky's gonna be a bro.
If you're now wondering if this entire movie takes place at this military school with a military overtone and military characters spouting military jargon, yes, it does. Andy and Chucky come face to face in a scene that, it basically just has the two of them repeating the plot that Tyler is the new target. Nothing really happens here. Of course, it's not easy for Chucky to track Tyler down. Several people die along the way, but we go totally off the rails when War Games, the paintball-style training activity, turns into a bloodbath. To create the ultimate distraction, Chucky replaces the paint bullets with real ones. This is awesome.
Oh god, he's not breathing.
For years, I thought this was so unrealistic, as paint-tipped bullets aren't real. But then I looked into it, and yes, they are. It's called simunition. Huh. Well, now I know. Anyway, Chucky chases Tyler away from War Games to a nearby carnival. Andy shows up to make the save, and Chucky is thrown off the top of a haunted house ride into the spinning blades of an uncovered fan, shredding him completely. And just like that, the movie's over. I'm not really into the military school setting, to be honest. As a matter of fact, the opening scene where the PlayPal CEO is killed in his office, that's my favorite part of this movie. Now, is it more of what we've already seen? Sure, but I like what we'd already seen, so that's not a problem for me. The first time I saw this movie, I didn't really like it. I found it largely unmemorable and not nearly as entertaining as the first two. Now, I was a kid back then, sure, but that was that. For years, I would rent Child's Play and Child's Play 2 over and over without ever checking this tape out again. Coming back to Child's Play 3 as an adult, it's not bad. It's still not nearly as good as 1 or 2, but it's not bad. Chucky getting his face cut off by the scythe in the haunted attraction is awesome. The barber getting his throat slit with the straight razor is super satisfying because this guy is a dickhead. And yes, this kill is 100% an ode to Sweeney Todd, which writer Don Mancini had seen perform live right around the time he was working on this script. Did you watch the Sweeney Todd episode of Scream Sequence? If not, now's the time. But speaking of the barber, we have to talk about this guy. What is his deal? This dude is mentally unwell, for real. Why is he so obsessed with these kids and their hair? It's not like he's just doing his job, keeping them proper by military standards. He stalks the lunchroom, practically licking his lips. His catchphrase is, "Presto, you're bald." Yet he doesn't shave a single head bald across the entire movie. If we're gonna talk about weirdness though, I have to mention that this movie's cinematographer, John Leonetti, he directed a movie that I have already covered on this channel.
Mother, you're alive.
Too bad you will die.
Yeah, now that's what I'm talking about.
It's a trap, Lou. Leave.
Prepare for final battle!
Yes, John Leonetti directed Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Good God. But I don't want to do him dirty like that, so I will also mention that he directed 2014's Annabelle, which grossed over $257 million on a budget of just $6 million. That's what we call a massive fucking hit, Dan. I find it odd that Don Mancini regretted making Child's Play 2 so jokey. In the lead up to this movie, he'd mentioned that several times. Yet here in the third film, Chucky's practically a comedian. His first 3 spoken lines are all jokes.
Don't fuck with the Chuck.
Bullseye. Nothing like a strangulation to get the circulation going.
I think my favorite comedy line is when Chucky finds a nudie magazine in Andy's bag. I mean, he is a teenager now.
Andy, how you've grown.
It's kind of sweet. Andy never had a dad in the picture across these movies, you know? It's almost like he and Chucky have a twisted and tortured sort of father-son thing going on. Or maybe not, I don't know. You might notice through the clips that I've shown that every time you see Chucky, he's pretty much standing still. His feet stay planted because with such a rushed timetable for production, Kevin Yeager and his team didn't have the time to create new and different mechanisms to animate Chucky's movement. If you never noticed how stationary he is before, I'm sorry to draw attention to it, but from here on out, you won't be able to unsee it. Child's Play 3 did indeed hit the mark, releasing 9 months after the second film, on August 30th of 1991. On a budget of $13 million, this third Chucky adventure pulled in the lowest franchise box office yet, at just over $20 million. Despite the fast-forwarded timeline and new setting, critics were growing tired of Charles Lee Ray, and judging by the box office, maybe fans were, too. Let's put it this way. Nobody walked up to David Kirshner saying, "Child's Play 4," after the private screenings of this one. And to put it bluntly, after this one, Chucky would be shelved entirely for over 7 years. Oh, there it is, Dan. Another Scream sequence in the books. Now, next time out, I was thinking of going a little more obscure, a little more weird, a little more off the beaten path, but fuck it. Next time out, it's Bride of Chucky. Now, that's going to be our last stop with the good guy. I'm not doing Seed or Curse or Cult, at least not right now. Maybe another time. Bride of Chucky coming up next. Don't miss it. If you'd like to support me over on Patreon, you can. I would greatly appreciate it. Or I have YouTube channel memberships right here. They're practically the same thing. Just pick one. Don't sign up for both. It would be a waste of money. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you as always. And until next time, I love you. And I'll see you soon.